Coming to you from Milwaukee, Wisconsin by way of Stone Mountain, Georgia. Birthed by the great state of South Carolina is the Bryant Land Country Podcast. Your place for any and everything in hunting, fishing, sports, and outdoor related, with heavy doses of randomness, guests, and an all-around good time. Here's your host, proud Gamecock, South Carolina forever, Ep.4.
All right, everybody, come on in, have a seat. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Bryant Land Country Podcast. I am your host, Ep.4. We have a great show for you today. I'm very happy to present the guests that I got for you guys today. It was a great conversation. We had a good time. But before I get to the guest, I just want to say a few words about that Saints-Rams game. I think I posted Sunday night when it happened, and if you're a wrestling fan, you totally got this post. That game was the biggest screw job since Montreal, okay? The Saints got screwed. That pass interference was a game changer. It was a pivotal point in that game. The refs got it wrong. The league said the refs got it wrong. It was terrible. But the thing that's hilarious, the thing that I find funny is listening to all these Falcon fans that are acting like they won something because the Saints aren't going to be here for the Super Bowl. Well, not in our house, and all this other stuff. Listen, have a seat, okay? Your team wasn't even in the dance just like my team was. My team wasn't in the dance either. So just sit down, be quiet. You don't have anything to say, okay? You guys blew the biggest lead in Super Bowl history. So you really don't have a whole lot to talk about. And what's even more funny is I got a friend of mine, lifelong friend of mine, that is on Facebook and is having a fit, and the Saints fans are crazy and they still won't let it go. Well, she won't let it go either, because every day she's posting about how the Saints fans are crazy and the billboards in Atlanta and all this other stuff, and she's mad at me because I'm telling her what to do on her page and all kind of other foolishness. People, it's over. Let it go. Saints aren't going to the Super Bowl. Rams are going. Only thing I got to say, go Rams, because I think we all can agree we don't want the Patriots to win. You heard me. We don't want the Patriots to win. Now, my guest for today, Joshua Carney. Awesome guy. Doing great things in the hunting industry, expanding his brand, getting out of the box, so to speak, doing different things in the industry. You know, Joshua's story is a unique one. Had an accident that left him paralyzed the first time that he went on a turkey hunting trip, but he has been nothing but positive and been nothing but an inspiration to people around the world. Josh's story and just how he carries himself, hilariously funny guy. I love his sense of humor. I love his timing. He's got great comedic timing. You say, well, what do I know about comedic timing? I mean, obviously I'm not a professional, but I love comedy. I love to laugh. And Josh is the same way. And I think that comes through in this interview. So you guys kick back, relax, listen to Joshua Carney, Son of the South, my conversation with him, Bryant Land Country Podcast. Hey, Josh, thanks for joining me, man. How you doing today, Bo?
I'm doing fantastic. How's everything going?
Man, everything's going good here. Wish I was back home down south. It is a whopping 14 degrees in Milwaukee, Wisconsin as we speak. So, I wish I could get back home and get a little bit warmer.
Yeah, man, I tell you, it's a little bit too cold for me up there. I'm going to stay down here in South Louisiana where it's just about 70 degrees every day.
Oh, my God. See, don't rub it in my face.
I couldn't live up there in Wisconsin.
Man, look, if it wasn't for work, I trust me, I wouldn't be here. Definitely the best thing that makes it bearable is the hunting that I get to do up here. You know, I do a little goose hunting and some early deer hunting before it gets too cold. But, you know, outside of work, man, I would definitely a southern country boy at heart.
I don't know, man. You're close to Canada. Like, I could hear it in your voice. You're starting to say, hey, like, you're up there.
No. No. Let me tell you, Toronto. Oh man, I could go on for days about my trips to Toronto and Canada, and I'm still trying to wrap my mind around getting up to Canada and do some hunting. But the experiences that I've had trying to cross the border for work have just kind of soured me on trying to get into Canada to go hunting. So
it can't be that bad. I'm not going to do a bear hunt in Canada, but from the experience you're talking about, I don't know if I want to do it.
Man, so, I'll just tell you a quick story. For all Canadian listeners that may be listening, I'm not trying to bash on your country or whatever, but it was just really extra. Like I said, I was traveling with the team. So, it's probably about 60, 70 of us in the traveling party. And, everybody's going through. They got their passports. They're checking their passports, whatnot. Everybody's going through. But they stop you and they ask you the same things like, well, what are you here for? It's like, well, I'm with the other 30 people that you just let ahead of me. It's like, I didn't just like hop in with this group. Like, we got off the same plane, we got off the same bus. So like, you go through that. Then I get pulled aside, which is already shameful in itself. Because everybody's looking at you like, oh, well, what did this guy do? Like, what's his deal? So I get pulled in the room, and the guy's like, well, do you want to tell us what happened in 2008 or something like that? I'm like, a lot of things happened in 2008. You want to narrow this down? And so he just keeps staring at me, and then he keeps asking me all these cryptic questions. And then finally, he's like, well, it says here you had a failure to appear. I was like, a failure to appear. It's like, he says you have a traffic ticket and you had a failure to appear. I was like, a traffic ticket that I paid for and I didn't go to court because I paid for it already? And he just kind of looked at me, and he looked at my license, then he looked at me, and he looked at my license. Like, this literally went on for another 5 minutes, and then finally he was like, you can go. And I'm just like, seriously? So I'm the last person to get on the media bus, and everybody's looking at me like, oh, well, you're the one that's holding us up and all this other stuff. Man, it was just one of those things that I was just kind of like, okay, this makes no sense. And then last year when we went, I got food poisoning on New Year's Eve in Canada. Eating of all things. Let me tell you you will appreciate this. What I had to eat, Popeyes.
I don't know if I trust Popeyes in Canada. Like, I think that, the further north you go, the less I trust Popeyes. Like, down south, it's great. So like two things I don't trust going north: fried chicken and sweet tea. Those are two things that I don't trust when I travel up north.
Yeah. You know what? That's fair, because and when I tell that story, everybody's like, well, that's not Canada's fault. That's your fault for eating Popeyes in Canada.
I mean, in their defense, that is kind of your fault. You didn't say it wasn't like a warning sign, like Popeyes in Canada. Did they raise chickens in Canada?
Right. I guess that's a fair point. I was just looking at it, I was just like, hey, Popeyes, okay, this is something I recognize. I'll go for it. I regret it, but I agree with you on that. I had the same thing happen when I lived in Connecticut. We went to a McDonald's, me and my dad, and we went to go get sweet tea. And, I said it comprehended, it clicked, let it nod, didn't say anything, came back and proceeded to hand us a large cup of what I basically equate to dirt water.
Yeah.
I said, okay, I asked for sweet tea, not unsweetened. She was like, oh, the sugar is over there. And just like pointed, like, I was like, okay, you know what? Never mind.
Yep. So if anybody's listening out there, further you north, do not trust fried chicken and sweet tea. You got to keep that in the south.
Yeah, I think, there might be something to that. I might have to take your advice on that, Josh. The other thing, too, you're in Baton Rouge, right?
Yes, Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Oh, nice. I love Baton Rouge. There's a seafood place in Baton Rouge, and it escapes me, but it's over there by Southern. And it's right there in front of, I think, the Louisiana, the Louisiana seasoning plant?
It's a seafood restaurant by Southern University.
Yeah, it's, oh my God.
You lost me a little bit because, you're in the hood. And, I venture away from those parts. But that's the best food.
It is. Oh my God, it's so good. You can go in there, you can pick out your catfish, you can pick out they have gator tail and everything.
Oh,
and
are you talking about Tony's?
Yes.
Tony's seafood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my
So
God.
that's not technically by Southern. It's a few miles away.
Okay.
So I actually went to school. Right across the street is a school.
Okay.
It was called St. Jared.
Okay.
And then further down that same street is a high school called Redemptorist High School. So I grew up there. Tony's was my lunch and dinner and all that stuff for a long time.
Man.
We used to skip lunch at school and go. We weren't supposed to, but if we had a vehicle, we'd drive down the road, go get Tony's and drive back.
I would totally do that because that place is so awesome. I got turned on to that place doing an event at LSU, and the guy that I was working with, he was like, hey, you need to go and try this place or whatever. It's like, all right, whatever. So we go there. There's no place for you to sit down, so you got to get your food to go. And I'm like walking in this place, and they got catfish swimming around, and I see a guy go over there with a little electric, little deal, and he like gets the catfish or whatever. They take it out, skin it, cook it right there for you if you want to, and then pack it up. But the food I had there, it was so good. Every time when I used to do events at either LSU or Southern, I would always make it a point to go to Tony's Seafood, man. I absolutely love that place. Love it.
Yeah, Tony's is fantastic. The boudin bowls are amazing. They have like right now it's cold, so they have crawfish etouffee. Gumbo's really good. The Salisbury steaks. I mean, Tony's is a place to go if you ever in Baton Rouge to like look for some good seafood.
And the thing about it is, like, you can either order it and they will ship it to you, like they will dry freeze and ship it to you. Me and my son a couple of years ago, we took an ATV trip through Louisiana, and we ended up riding through the Bonnet Carré Spillway in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And then we ended up passing through Baton Rouge, and I knew about Tony's. So we passed through Baton Rouge, we got something to eat, and then we went all the way out there not Monroe, where's Lafayette, where the University of Louisiana is. And we went out there, we rode ATVs at night through the swamps and everything, had a great time. And then coming back, we stopped at Tony's, and I filled a cooler and a half worth of stuff and drove it back to Georgia. That's just how great that place is. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, no, they definitely take care of you, and the food's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, so Baton Rouge, Tony's Seafood, we just basically spent 8 minutes on a complete nerd out about Tony's Seafood, but trust me, people, if you ever had
we just gave them a free shout out.
Yeah, we did. I need to send this to them and see if we can get like a kickback or something, because like literally we just did an 8-minute promo on nothing but Tony's Seafood. But enough of that. Let's talk about you, because that's why I got you on here. Josh, I've kind of, like I said, followed you through Instagram, checked out like some of your videos and a lot of your pictures and your posts and stuff. And the thing that I like about you, man, is just from what I can tell, you have a lot of fun. Nothing brings you down. You're very authentic. And you're very real. Where do you draw all that inspiration from? Like, man, how are you able to project so much positivity?
Man, so 2005, I was accidentally shot turkey on. My dad accidentally shot me turkey on, and it left me paralyzed. I spent 3 months in the hospital. The doctors told me I'd never talk again, I'd never walk, and all this stuff. Being in that situation, I learned that I can either accept that and let it hold me down and be a burden to me, or I can accept the fact that I have another day to live and I can make the best of it. So that's what I did. I made the best of the bad situation. But, looking back at it, my situation isn't really that bad because a lot of people have it worse than I do. But having that mindset installed in me, it makes me have a positive outlook on life. I have bad days. I mean, everybody has bad days.
Sure.
But let me backtrack. I don't have bad days. And a lot of people misunderstand the fact of bad days. A lot of people have 10 to 20 minutes of bad thoughts of bad things that happen to them that make their whole day bad. But you have 24 hours in a day. You can't let that 10 to 20 minutes ruin your whole day. So you have to figure out ways to let that bad moment get past you and, continue to find positive things throughout those other 23 hours to make you happy or bring back joy to your life. That's what I focus on. I focus on finding things that make me happy. I find a way to laugh out of every situation. Being in a wheelchair, I find more humor in myself and the things that I do on a daily basis that people would probably never even think that would be funny to them. Like, I crack jokes about myself, and people just look at me like, dude, did you just say that about yourself? I mean, yeah, I can joke about that. I've accepted the fact that this is my lifestyle. I have a great sense of humor and a positive manner about the way that I do things. That brings light to other people. That makes other people happy. Maybe they're struggling with something that they're going through that day or something at work or, anything that they're going through. Having a positive outlook, me showing a positive outlook, lifts up other people and encourages other people and makes other people smile. And I like to work out a lot. So, I go to the gym a lot. I post gym stuff, and one of my biggest things is, I go to the gym. I was like, man, I really hate leg day. And people are like, dude, why would you say that?
Oh, my God.
It changes the outlook of my situation, and people, they can relate to that. Finding humor in a bad situation make someone else figure that, I don't have it so bad. Like, if he can laugh at it and I can laugh at my situation, life is too short to be mad about something you do. Have fun while you can. Live your life to the fullest. And that's just my method of thinking. That's why I'm always positive all the time.
Yeah, no, it totally makes sense because I'm looking right now, and the one thing that caught my eyes, you got this meme. It's this lady in the wheelchair, and people always love to say, "Jesus, take the wheel," and it's got you, or what does it say? It says me, Jesus, the wheel, and he took the wheel, and it's like one wheelchair. I mean, seriously, dude, like, where do you find this stuff?
So I thought that was one of the greatest memes of all time. For 2019, at least, I'm pretty sure I'm going to post a lot funnier stuff and a lot more stuff this year. Man. I'm just waiting on the right memes to post. But no, I think that's actually funny because I've been in situations where I have been in my chair, my wheel has actually fell off, like in mid-roll. So, see that meme where the lady sitting in a wheelchair, the guy steals her wheel, and the guy's Jesus. And the song Jesus Take the Wheel. I just find that, I relate to that on a personal level.
Man, I wish I could find. I was trying to find it. It was a Instagram story that you posted, and God, I can't remember what it was. As I get older, my memory is getting bad about certain things. There's certain things that I can remember clear as day that blows people away, and then there's certain things that happened just like a couple of days or a couple of hours ago, and I have absolutely no recollection. But I was going through messages we had going back and forth. It was something that you posted, and I was just like, man, that is the funniest thing I've seen in a long time. And you was like, it's the absolute truth, though. I think it was something about like it's all.
Oh
funny.
yeah, I know what you're talking about. So I did a question and answer thing a week ago or so, a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
Someone asked me, like, hey man, you're going to the gym a lot, you're getting real swole, and my answer was, I'm only working out so women don't kidnap me.
Right.
And it's funny, but it's true. So.
Bro,
really? I've had a history. So,
oh my God,
my post was, I only work out because so women don't kidnap me. And then someone responded to that, was like, do women really try to kidnap you? And my response was that one too. Chocolate at 50% off is just easier to take.
Yeah.
And then it's me in a wheelchair. It's funny because, like, it fits the situation perfectly. It just went well with how that whole timeline of stories happened.
Man, do you do stand-up? Is that something, like, in your arsenal? Like, have you seriously thought about doing stand-up, or do you do stand-up?
So, no, I don't stand up. I sit down a lot, all the time.
Oh, my God. I walked into that. But you
do walk it out.
Jesus Christ.
So
you know what I mean, man.
You're supposed to put comedy at the back of it so people know what you're talking about.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So back in my college days, like when I first started college, I used to go to this sports bar called Station Sports Bar. And I used to do comedy there every Wednesday night. Station Sports Bar and a Funny Bone, but the Funny Bone closed down. But I used to do comedy there every week. And I just loved it. I love being on stage. My stage name was Hot Wheels. There's a long story behind that we don't have time for. But when I got to the hunting industry, I just kind of changed my perspective on things because it's hard to juggle both. I can't like be a comedian and then be like this hunting person now and have to be like quote unquote professional. Right. It's just a different mix of things. Like you have one crowd that's like, hey, we like jokes, and you have one crowd that's like, hey, we just want you to be a hunter. It's kind of hard to throw both of them in the mix. I tend to like put the comedy stuff aside, like try and be this professional outdoorsman that's educational and like inspirational. I want to be this top dog in the hunting world. But like right now, I'm at the point where I just want to be me. I like to hunt. I like to be outdoors, but I love making people have laughs. So I think this year here, I'm just going to get back to my roots, getting back to the comedy side of things, having fun, making people laugh, and people don't like it, they just don't like it. But at the end of the day, right. I'm happy being me, telling stories and cracking up and being funny, silly, goofy. That's just me all day, every day.
When's your birthday?
November 20th.
Okay. So that's what, Sagittarius?
Sagittarius? Heck no. I'm the best sign that there is. I'm a Scorpio.
Oh my God. Okay. Again, I'm sorry. I mean, I was off by like a week. Okay. Kill me. I mean, seriously.
Listen, a week is enough to do damage.
Well, yeah, you're right. I've had my fair share of experience with Sagittariuses, and yeah, that's another podcast. But no, the reason why I ask is because you sound a lot like me. Like I tell people all the time, if there was a reset button or like a do-over in life, I would totally be a stand-up comedian because I love making people laugh. I love just looking at stuff that's funny. I can pick funny things out of just random situations or whatever, and they're like, well, you should go ahead and try it now. It's like, no. I mean, maybe one day, like a bucket list kind of thing, just to say you did it. Like if I'm out somewhere, I might like jump on stage at like open mic night or something like that. But otherwise, man, I just love comedy and comedians and, just finding funny things in everyday situations that otherwise would seem random or whatnot, but it's just hilarious. So that's what made me ask, because like I said, I just listening to you talk about that just reminded me a lot of myself and one of the things about myself. So
yeah, man. Listen, if you ever get a chance to do an open mic, let me know. Like I would love to hear you perform.
Oh my God, you mean hear me bomb?
Nah, listen. The thing about comedy is that you are the main performer. Like that's your moment. Comedy is built upon like your life. You can go through a lot of things in life that you can find humor in, and people can relate to. So, like my situation being in a chair, I love kids. Like kids are awesome, but kids have a sense of humor that is really twisted at times, which I love because my sense of humor is twisted too. So, like one day I had this kid, and kids learn things in school that I never learned at all as in school or as an adult at all. So back to like you said, you had a bad situation with Sagittarius or whatever. So like dating for me is it's interesting. Okay. I'm on the road a lot, so I don't have like time to do all that, but I have a lot of people that I associate with.
Sure.
This sounds really bad, but it's not that bad.
No, I've seen you. I was like, okay, Josh is doing well out here. Like like I said, I've seen your Instagram, so you're doing good.
A buddy of mine, his kid, I think he's 11 years old, and I'm like their family, very close to him, and they're like, well, Josh, when you gonna get your girlfriend? When you gonna get your girlfriend? And it's like, dude, I'm busy. I'm working. I'm busy. So he came up with this method of what I am. And he was like, dude, you're a Mo. I was like, what do you mean I'm a Mo? Like, I was like, Mo, like Lavo? He's like, yeah, M-O-W. What does it even mean? He was like, all the girls love you because you're a Mo. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, what the heck is a Mo? He's like, dude, listen. And he just patted me on my shoulder, and he looked at me. He was like, you're Meal on Wheels. And I fell out of my chair. This 11-year-old kid told me this.
Oh my God!
I'm like, dude, where on earth did you learn that term?
Right.
Like, it told you at school. I was like, I need to go back to school and learn some of this stuff because I missed this chapter in my life. Elementary or like high school, I missed this chapter somewhere.
Yeah, no, it's the same thing. I got a 13 and a 12-year-old, and when they were that age, even in elementary school, like the stuff that they would come back home with, I'm just like, what in the world are y'all doing out there? And like, I would go and pick them up from school and listening to other kids talking. It was just like, where did you learn this? Like, oh my God. Yeah. Like, we never talked like that when we were that age. Good grief.
I mean, they always say that the student should listen to the teacher, but heck, sometimes these students are teaching the teachers.
Oh, yeah.
And I need to go back to class and get a notebook or something.
Man, it's bananas. So let's transition. The Son of the South brand. How did you come up with that name, and what's that brand all about? Obviously, I know it's about your hunting and things of that nature, but just where did you get that name from, and how did that get started?
So there's a song. It's called Whistling Dixie. It's a country song. Yep. Long time ago, I was driving down the road or something like that. I don't even think I was driving. I don't know what I was doing. But it goes, I'm the son of the South. Daddy redneck, mama half hippie. I just figured that line was like the perfect line of all time. I'm from the South. I do everything as Southern as possible. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be the son of the South. So I was like, boom, that's it. Got a trademark, wrote my signature on it, put my John Hancock on it, went to the bank, cashed in on it. Nice. 7 years now, I've owned that name.
How long now?
It's been 7 years.
Wow. Okay. Did you design the logo yourself and everything, or you just came up with the concept and like passed it along?
I had a company out of western part of the world design it. I actually forget where they're from. I want to think Utah, maybe.
That sounds about right. There are a lot of good,
good,
marketing. It seems like a lot of the outdoor marketing and companies and stuff come from like Utah for whatever reason. It's weird.
Yeah, so they designed it, they came up with the logo, and they sent me 12 different files of it. They critiqued it and everything. I approved on it and everything, and been rolling with that logo since.
Nice. Got the merch and everything. I saw some of the merch on Instagram. So, yeah, it's a great logo. Switching gears.
I'm actually going to switch it up a little bit, probably this year, because I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to transition from, like, the hunting side, do more of, like, a lifestyle thing.
Okay.
I do a lot of
Right.
speaking seminars and motivational stuff. And, that's the majority. Like, everybody needs someone to motivate them, help them get through something. The speaking side of it and the hunting side of it are just like a basic lifestyle, like kind of like a reality show of Josh Carney. Like, you get full-time Josh Carney all the time, whether it's hunting, it's fishing, I'm doing a speaking seminar, or I'm just doing something crazy like jumping out of an airplane. That is going to be what the brand's going to be about.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because that was exactly what I was getting ready to transition into, was like your public speaking. So it just comes from, like you say, because you started out doing stuff just like in the hunting industry, and that's only a small part of you. So you don't want to just like limit yourself into a box. Is that like with your public speaking, does that include everything, like your hunting, your comedy, like, just everything that embodies who you are?
Yes, I first started doing public speaking 2014. First public speaking ever. Didn't know what public speaking was. This guy, Ross Allen, he called me, okay, we seen you at the ATA show, which is the Archery Trade Association, which is where I got my start in the hunting industry. I went there and I made animal sounds for everybody, and like people just fell in love with it. And I got my notoriety from there. That's where I got my exposure. He's like, hey, we seen you at the show. We want to know if you want to come and tell your story at our church. I'm like, okay, listen, dude, I'm not a speaker. I talk a lot, but I'm not a speaker. There's a difference. I was like, my name is Son of the South, not Mouth of the South. And you want me to come to a church and talk to a bunch of people. I was like, listen, man, I don't know about all that. He's like, oh, man, you got this. It's like it's a wild game dinner. There are going to be a lot of hunters in the room. Just talk about your hunting situation and what happened. So that's how I got my start in speaking. I was on stage, nervous as can be. I'm in a church speaking about hunting. All hunting tales aren't Christian hunting tales.
Right.
There's some camp stories that just don't need to be told. So I'm thinking, like, what on earth do I sit here and talk about? Like, what do I say? So start telling a story, and I start stumbling. And, like, in the process of me stumbling over my words, I'm like, I'm just going to throw a joke in there. People laugh. Cool. So let me revert back to my comedy days. So I tell my story, I get to like a sad part, and then I throw a joke in it, and it climax back up. And from there, it's like, okay, well, I got something here. I can tell my story instead of like telling a sob story. I can make it really interesting, and it's like I'm doing a comedy show again. And so that's just kind of how I made my speaking situations and scenarios. I make it into a life story, but it's also a full-blown comedy show.
Nice. Just weaving it all together. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. It makes it fantastic. By the time I leave, like, so many people in tears from laughing, not even like I hate sympathy. I'm not looking for sympathy. I don't want sympathy at all. But people, like, have tears in their eyes from laughing is what gets me going. That's what I love. And, every show that I do, that is how I end the show. I mean, I'll make people get up and do. So I have this big deal where I'm a big turkey hunter. I love turkey hunting. Turkey hunting is my passion. Even though I went from a turkey hunting accident, turkey hunting is what I love. It's a love-hate relationship, but I love it. So I'll do this skit where I'll have a husband and wife come up, and I'll tell them that, I'm not only a speaker, I'm a marriage counselor. So I'll have the husband and wife come up, and I'll have the wives go to one side and the husbands go to the other side. I was like, look, ladies, this is your domain. You don't have to do anything. This is your time to shine. The husbands have to do everything. And I was like, look, I'm a big turkey hunter. I love turkey hunting. In the sequence of turkey hunting, the hen pulls in the gobbler. So, ladies, you're going to be the hen, and guys, you're going to be the gobbler. You have to strut and gobble and act like a male turkey and come all the way up to your wife and put on the show. And once they do this in front of the audience goes crazy. It is so hysterical watching grown men act like turkeys and strut and gobble to their wives. Absolutely hysterical.
I mean, it's basically the story of dating anyways, because we end up, showing out and acting a fool to try to impress, the woman that we think we want to spend the rest of our life with, or the rest of the night, or whatever the case may be. So,
you took that to a whole other level.
See, and that's the thing about the podcast. Like you say, you have a twisted sense of humor. I do as well. And at least starting out in these first few episodes, I'm trying to work these episodes clean, but I don't know how long I'm going to be able to keep this muzzle on myself. You know, it's like I'm trying to keep it for everybody so, you know, everybody can listen to it. But times that I just want to just rip this muzzle off and just let it roll. But we'll see. That's another.
Here's the thing. Just be you. If it makes you happy and it makes you happy, just be you. And that was like the hardest thing for me to realize being in the hunting industry, like being this big personality, like you're sitting on a high horse. You have to watch what you say because, you know, someone's going to get offensive about it. I got to the point where I was like, you know, if I don't have freedom of speech, why am I on social media? Like, why do I even have this foundation? So, I mean, just say what you want to say. If someone, there is 7 billion people in the world. There's going to be someone that don't like what you say no matter what you say. So have fun, be yourself, be true.
You were so correct about that, because that is one of the things, you know, when I first started, you know, with my brand, with Bryant Land, it was just kind of like, okay, well, first of all, it's just like, all right, figuring out, all right, what is this going, you know, brand's going to be about? Are you going to make videos? Are you going to make videos for people? Like, are you just kind of going to put just random stuff out there that you do? So, like, it took me a good 3 years or so to kind of figure out what this brand is about and, you know, what I wanted to put out there about it and what I wanted it to be. And then after that, just kind of watching folks and stuff, like I sit back and I watch sports and I watch other public figures get caught up for something to happen, and I'll sit back and I'll be like, well, that was stupid. Like, why is everybody upset about that? And then you'll see them and they'll come out and they'll give the written statement and they'll say like the stuff that you're quote unquote supposed to say. Yeah. And I'll sit back and I'll watch and I'm like, man, if that was me, I'd tell them to go and you know what and all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. So I hear you. And I think as the more I find my voice doing this podcast and stuff, probably by when this is finished, this will be, I think, episode 7, either episode 6 or 7. By the time I get to like 20 or something, it'll probably sound completely different. Then episode 20 will sound completely different from episode 1. And people will be like, oh my God, where did this come from? So, but yeah, no, I definitely hear you.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of building your brand and molding. It's part of building your brand and building your foundation how you want to do it. I mean, it takes time to do it. I mean, it's not going to happen overnight. I've always been told it's a 5-year process. Mm-hmm. You know, it takes 5 years to build a brand and make it how you want to do it. But just do it how you want to do it. If at the end of the day you're happy, go for it. My motto is, if someone gives you negativity, that negative 2 cents does not go to your bank account. Like, right. It doesn't help pay your podcast bill. It doesn't help for anything that you do. Like, everything that you're doing, you're investing in for you or for your audience that like you. If someone has something negative to say about it, then that 2 cents, it doesn't go towards any bills. Like, it doesn't help you go through anything in life. That 2 cents doesn't help put food on your table. It doesn't help pay your light bills. That 2 cents don't cuddle you at night. That 2 cents goes nowhere. So, like, all that negativity behind someone's outlook about what you do or what you're not doing right, I mean, I wouldn't even let that hold you down in life. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's invalid. In 100 years, it's not going to matter what Stacy Joe on Facebook told you about your podcast.
Right. No, you're definitely.
And I'm sorry if there's a Stacy Joe out there. No offense, Stacy.
I think, like you said, we just basically crapped on Stacy. It was just like, oh, well, if there's really a Stacy, we're sorry about that. But
yeah, but I mean, Stacy's mom's got it going on.
You are something else. So the turkey hunting, I got into turkey hunting, I think maybe like 2 seasons ago, and I killed a Miriam with my bow out in Nebraska last year. It was definitely, I tell people, it's the top crowning achievement of my short-lived hunting career. Just calling in the birds and just watching them work, watching them gobble. And then at the time I was self-filming, so I was trying to like film, you know, these 4 gobblers that I got coming in. And then when they get across the cameras, oh snap, I need to shoot one of these things. And, you know, shooting it and then watching it fall and, you know, everything that goes into that. Definitely the crowning achievement, like I said, of my short-lived hunting career. Now, given, you said, with your accident and stuff, you still love turkey hunting. You still go out to it. Was your dad the one that introduced you to it? And like, what is it that just draws you into the turkey hunting?
So like I said, turkey hunting was the cause of my accident.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my absolute first turkey hunt ever. Me and my dad went turkey hunting the first time, and I was setting 30 yards apart from him, and the turkey came behind a tree that I was sitting on. And when he shot me. So from that experience, it made me have a lot more respect for turkeys.
Mm-hmm.
but it fueled my passion to want to hunt them more because it was that one that got me, and I'm not gonna let it turn me in. I'm
Right.
one of those guys that I love a challenge. You know, for me, turkey hunting is a challenging sport for me, and I make it even more challenging because I have to do it in a wheelchair, and I have to, I like to call turkeys in with my natural voice, and I like to make it difficult. If I could find a way to make turkey hunting difficult, I'm gonna do it. Like last year, I did one with I shot a turkey with a shotgun in South Carolina, left that morning, drove all the way to Florida, killed another turkey with a shotgun, and then turned around and the next day killed another turkey with a bow. So in 48 hours, I
Wow.
killed 3 birds. Well, less than 48 hours, I killed 3 birds, in 2 different states with 2 different weapons.
Jesus, dude.
So I mean, I love challenges. And this year here, I have my schedule planned out for turkey season. I'm gonna try and go to Florida and hunt one with an air rifle, and then after that, we're gonna go to Texas, and I got a sponsor of mine. He wants to hunt one with a handgun.
Oh,
So
wow.
we're just using different methods to turkey hunt. They're illegal, but they're different.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to do a shotgun. And I love shooting turkey with a shotgun. Don't get me wrong, I love, but there's different methods to do it, and I kind of want to try them all. If they're legal, I want to do it.
Wow. Yeah, here I am, just all happy with my turkey with my bow, and you just out here super turkey killer, just taking them with all different kind of methods.
Now, see, turkey hunting with a bow is challenging. Let me backtrack. I have not killed a turkey with a bow. I use a crossbow on the one that I killed. So I technically cheated a little bit, but I have missed a lot of turkeys with a bow. I've missed a lot of turkeys with a bow.
Now, are you one of those guys that get all? I probably know the answer to this question before I even ask it, but I'll ask it anyway. You're not one of those guys that get all huffy about, the crossbow and the compound bow and the cross rifle and all this other stuff. People, they get bent out of shape when you hear somebody say, oh, they harvested something with a crossbow, and folks just lose their ever-loving mind. It don't make no difference to you.
Heck no. Listen, if it is a weapon and it deserves to be used in a manner to take an animal or whatever its job is or what it was built for, then it is fine with me. I don't care what it is. Heck, I'll use a spear. I'll be David if a turkey is big enough to be Goliath. I will use a slingshot. I don't care. I will do whatever is legal. I mean, if people get all upset about, oh well.
Like I said, I figured as much.
People get all upset about, oh well. I wouldn't use that, or I wouldn't have done it that way. Well, listen, here's the deal. And this is my method for whitetail hunting. People are like, oh, well, that deer wasn't big enough. I don't think you should have shot that deer. Listen, when you pay for my gas, you pay for my hunting lease, you pay for my hunting license, you pay for my processing fee and all that, then you can tell me what I can shoot, what I need to shoot,
right,
and all that. Then it's on your requirements because I'm not paying for it. You're paying for it, and I don't have to worry about it. But if it's coming out of my pocket and it's going in my belly, you don't mess with a man and his food, especially me. Especially when it comes to fried chicken. I don't go to Canada for fried chicken, but don't tell me what to eat and what to do with my fun.
I like how you tied all that back around. That is definitely the comedic timing in you. I like that. Touche, sir. I appreciate it.
Life is a full circle. Everything comes back around at some point.
Well, let me ask you about this. So, turkey hunting is your absolute favorite.
Yes.
What's next on the list after turkey hunting?
Oh, I like different things. I like things that actually challenge me. I think when I had my accident, I hit my head a little bit too hard and it knocked a couple screws loose. So this past season, I went to Georgia on a bear hunt, and I was going after this really big bear. And I only had one day to do it. So bear we were hunting didn't show up. So we used dogs to chase a bear. And we were in this nasty, thick South Georgia swamp. Can't see 3 feet in front of us. It was that thick. And I wanted to go in and shoot this bear on the ground, face to face. I mean, I'm talking 4 feet in front of me. And luckily for the bear, it ran up a tree. But luckily for me, I think it ran up a tree luckily for me. But that's kind of I love the adrenaline rush. I want something that's going to absolutely terrify me to the point where, I'm fearless. In that moment, I was all for being 4 foot away from a big black bear and harvesting it that way. But it didn't happen. This bear ran up a tree. I still got to, harvest the bear. Beautiful bear. We had a good time. I had to drive back home the next day to do the episode for Swamp People. So all in all, it turned out good. I got back home, and then I got into another dangerous situation with an alligator. So I love situations that put me at risk.
Oh,
I don't know why.
Josh.
I have a like a. I love. I don't know. I don't know if it's that I love playing with death, but like I love being at the edge, like at the jumping point, and like that's what drives me. I love a challenge. So if it challenged me in outdoors, then that's for me.
Yeah, you definitely sound like you gotta to walk the line. Swamp people. So anybody that knows me knows that I've been a huge fan of Swamp People since like day one, since the show first came out. Like I've watched just about every episode, every season, set the DVR, appointment television, all the buzzwords that we use in the television industry. You're going to be on Swamp People coming up this season. How did that come together? And like, just tell us about it. Cause I know I'm excited to see you on there cause for multiple reasons, but one, finally have, some representation, some more representation of us on Swamp People. And just like I said, I love the show and I love the different stories. So I'm very curious to see how they're going to present your story. So how did that come together for you?
So I can't like tell you the full story about like how it's going to happen, but leading into it, we gator hunt here in Louisiana a lot. I have some buddies of mine and we go gator hunting. One of the producers from California saw that, I guess you saw it on social media, that we were doing gator hunts, and they contacted us and they wanted us to do the show. One of the, like I said, I like crazy things, like, intense moment. One of my like intense moments was me hunting an alligator with a bow and arrow.
I saw
and that was absolutely insane, crazy. I'm talking like 2 feet away from an alligator, and all I have is a bow and arrow in my hand. It's absolutely insane. You're in biting distance, and you're using a bow and arrow.
Right.
I mean, it's pretty wild, but it's actually a huge adrenaline rush. I think that they saw one of those videos or the photos, and they contacted us. I was like, hey, we seen your stuff on social media. We want to know if we come down, can we do an interview with you? We want to know your story. And, like, we know that you make animal sounds. We want to know if you can call an alligator. And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, I can call an alligator. And that's kind of like the storyline of how this episode's going to work out. I go down, and I'm calling in an alligator.
I saw the picture of you with the alligator, and I was just like, wait a minute, what? It's like one of those things, like you're scrolling down like your feed, and then I saw like I believe it was like the alligator like over your shoulder or something like that, and you had a bow and an arrow, and it's just like, wait a minute, he did what? Like, so wow, that's amazing, man.
If it's crazy, I'm probably liable to do it.
Wow. When's the
This year we're planning on doing and like I have a lot of friends that have told me no, but I want to jump out of an airplane this summer. Still trying to figure out where I want to jump. I'm thinking of Florida, over the big, beautiful blue ocean. I've had a lot of people tell me no for some reason. I don't know why. They're like, why would you jump out of a perfectly good airplane? I'm like, I don't know, why not? So.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's almost like how you remember the bungee jumping craze back in the day. I mean, it's kind of one of those things. It's like, why do it if you, but since you get off on kind of things like that, there's a place, if you do your jump in Florida, there's a place near Orlando, I believe it's called like Alligator World or something like that. They have all different types of alligators and crocodiles and whatnot. You can zip line across that whole place.
Like, I would be up for that.
That's why I told you about it. So if you do that, please let me know, because, I want to hear about that. I want to see about that. I mean, like, if you do that, I will purposely have you back on the podcast so we can just talk about that. Because, and I didn't see anybody do it.
I'm going to Google that after we get done. I'm going to Google that. And I'm going to make sure that, like, I'm making that a full episode out of this. Like, I got to find out where this place is because I want to do this.
I believe it's called Gator World, and it's somewhere near Tampa and Orlando in Florida. And like literally you can zip line across the whole place. And I didn't see anybody do it when I was there, and I didn't ask, about this was, oh my God, 8 years ago or whatever. I was down there for a gig or whatnot, and I had an off day, and I went down there because it's something to do. And I didn't ask anybody, like, often do people do it or whatever, but I saw the thing where it said zip line. I saw the zip line go entirely across. They're in little pits and stuff where they got gators and stuff at, and I'm just like, who in their right mind would do this?
That would be me. I'd be that guy. Right mind, I don't know if that's the right term. I do it.
Like I said, if you find it or if I find it before you, I will definitely send it to you. And yeah, if you do something with that, please let me know because I want to know about this.
I just think I need to do a whole YouTube channel about like crazy adventures with Josh.
I think you should totally do it, and then you should get me to host it for you. There you go.
Let's do it. Let's go for it.
Like, I'm totally up for it. You just let me know.
That's a second business proposal right there. You find the craziest spots, and I'll go there and I'll do the hard work. You know what? You know what's bad? You know what's bad? Like, you're doing the easy job. Like, you're doing the desk work, and you're making a paraplegic do all the leg work. That's terrible. Absolutely horrible.
Look, in sports, a lot of times you have your analysts that actually played and can bring insight. And then you got the guy that's like the voice, that makes you, that draws you in or talks you into the event to watch the event. I've always said hunting is the one event or the one sport where I can be the host, the analyst, and the ex-athlete all at the same time. So that's,
See, what I call that is I call that a hype man.
Hey.
That's the person that gets you into a lot of trouble, but does nothing but watch and laugh at your experience.
There are a lot of great hype men in our society, okay? I mean, Dub C has made a living off being the hype man for Ice Cube for over 30 years. Okay, it's not a bad gig if you can get it.
You're right. I mean, but you still get to laugh at someone else's experience. If they go down, you're still laughing. I mean, like, you hyped them up for failure. Like, you're gonna hype me up to go to a gator pit and zipline.
You're the one that wants to walk on the edge of the line. Okay, I'm just.
Now I'm walking the edge of the line. Okay, you're gonna let the guy that can't walk stumble across the line in alligator territory. Okay, I'm just going to be like, Crocodile Dundee getting ate by gator here.
If we ever be in person, I'm going to have to sharpen up a little bit because I can't keep walking into these. That's not good. That doesn't say a lot about me.
You did another one, but I let it slide. I let you have that one. But, for now, gloves off for now. Gloves are off.
What was the other one? Because I probably didn't even realize it if you didn't say anything.
Yeah, you didn't realize. It was about 2 minutes ago before that one. So, I let that one slide, and then I called you back on this one.
Well, it's like I tell people, it's like, I let you live on that one. But, okay, well, so I appreciate you letting me live on that.
Listen, I'm like an all-you-can buffet. You get one free sample. You got to pay for the rest.
I'll tell you what. The next time after Swamp People premieres, and then after you get some of your YouTube and some of your other lifestyle stuff come on, why don't you come back and give us an update?
Let's do it. Let's make that happen.
Sounds like a plan to me. Josh, I really appreciate you doing this. Tell the people where they can find you and tell them what you got going on and where they can find you at.
So my social media is Son of the South. You can just pretty much, for Instagram, it's Son of the South TV. Facebook, it is Son of the South. And YouTube, I definitely believe it's just Son of the South. SON, not SUN. Because I am not a ray of sunshine. I'm a little bit too dark for that. So I am the son of the South. You can look me up on any social media site. You get Joshua Carney, like Carney, not the circus Carneys. No relationship. But I am just a little crazy like those guys. But yeah, if you want to look me up, that's my information for the easiest way to find me. For a speaking event or a comedy show, look me up on one of those sites, shoot me a message. I reply. So there we go.
Man, I sure appreciate you, Josh. I'll be talking to you soon, bro. Once again, thank you to Joshua Carney, Son of the South, for joining me on the Bryant Land Country Podcast. I really enjoyed talking to him. Funny guy, inspirational guy, doing some great big things in the outdoor industry, in the outdoor community, and then branching out, doing more lifestyle stuff. As you heard in the interview there, have to please excuse the snowblower that's going on in the background. You might have heard it a little bit in the intro. Anyway, thank you for joining me for another episode of the Bright Land Country Podcast. Remember, give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. Leave us some feedback. AB3 bryantland@gmail.com. You can send me an email, questions, concerns, any kind of feedback. Like I said, I want to do a episode with nothing but listener questions. So if you guys got a question, whether it's about hunting, anything outdoors, sport, anything about my background in the television business, any of that stuff, shoot me an email over to ab3bryantland@gmail.com. Of course, you can always follow us on Instagram @officialbryantland, @3bryantland on Twitter, and then of course Facebook, Bryant Land. Thank you again. Thank you for listening, downloading, subscribing. Remember, Tell 5 people about my podcast. Tell them to tell 5 more people. Come on back next time. We're going to have another good guest. We're going to have another great time at the Bryant Land Country Podcast. Talking's hard. Oh, my goodness. Y'all take it easy. All right.
Thanks for listening to the Bryant Land Country Podcast, hosted by AB3. Please leave us a positive review and 5-star rating on iTunes. Be sure to check out our podcast section on our website, BryantLandCountry.com, for previous podcasts. Check us out on Instagram at Official Bryant Land and Twitter at 3BryantLand. This has been an AB3 Media production. Join us next time for another edition of the Bryant Land Country Podcast.